The country non-parliamentary elections got underway in Zimbabwe this morning. Those are by-elections, of course. At least 102 candidates successfully filed their nomination papers to contest 16 constituencies across the country. Well, Shingai Nyoka is tracking those polls for us, and she joins us on the line now from Harare. Good afternoon, Shingai, and thank you for your time on the PM News Desk.
Good afternoon to you.
Shingai, how's the vote progressing in the capital so far?
Well, as you are aware, these elections are not just taking place in the capital. They're taking place in 6 provinces around the country. We've been stationed in the capital. We've moved around some of the various constituencies. Overall, some of the polling stations reported quite low voter turnout, whereas others reported a relatively high voter turnout. From what we understand, from what we've seen, the voting has been largely peaceful, despite the fact that some opposition candidates are reporting some anomalies in the voting process. They claim, for example, that people are being bussed from outside of the constituencies to vote into their particular areas. We've also had some reports from observers that some polling agents representing independent candidates have not been able to, or were not allowed to enter at some polling stations. But on the whole, it appears as if voting within the capital city is underway without a lot of problems.
Shingai, you've been moving around. You've just told us. We understand that 330 observers have been credited by the ZEC headquarters yesterday. How visible are these observers at polling stations right now? The polling stations you've been to, that is.
Well, in most of the polling stations, the observers, the monitors, the polling officers, as well as the police officers, have in most cases outnumbered the people that were voting. And so there really is a heavy presence of not just observers, but also of law enforcement at these particular polls. What we also understand is that despite the fact that there have been some complaints and some anomalies, that the police as well as the Human Rights Commission have been on top of the issue, and that they've been going to some of these polling stations where problems and complaints have been registered. So really at this stage it appears as if it's a small election, as you know, with only 16 constituencies, that the officials and the monitors are on top of the situation in terms of ensuring that the voting proceeds smoothly.
Shingai, Zimbabwe's main opposition, of course, boycotting these polls. But are they not just shooting themselves in the foot here? Surely non-participation will lead to a weakening of their position and opposition politics at the moment, and perhaps even provide the MDC with an opportunity to recover lost ground in the run-up to the 2018 elections. What's the sense you get on the ground?
Well, that's precisely what a lot of people that we've been speaking to on the ground have been saying. I think the low voter turnout in some particular areas points to the fact that many of these people were opposition supporters, or they would have wanted more of a choice between the competing parties. And but the opposition, especially the Movement for Democratic Change, has been quite emphatic that they will not participate in an election until the electoral reforms, until there are reforms to the voters' roll, until they're able to get a copy of the voters' roll, because according to them, participating in these by-elections is an exercise in futility, because they claim that ZANU-PF has already manipulated this vote so that they lose.
Shingai Nyoka, our correspondent, on the line to us from Harare in Zimbabwe, where parliamentary by-elections are indeed underway today, that vote proceeding smoothly. Time to take